Welcome back. I'm Nasma Abdul Mohsen and you're watching PSM News. The senior-most United Nations official to visit Myanmar this year says Myanmar is not ready for the repatriation of Rohingya refugees after the country was accused of instigating ethnic cleansing and driving nearly 700,000 Muslims to Bangladesh.
Assistant Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs of United Nations, Ursula Mueller, made a 6-day visit to Myanmar and was allowed to visit Rakhine State, indicating a tentative shift in Myanmar's tough stance towards the United Nations. She also met army-controlled ministers of defense and border affairs, as well as de facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi, where Mueller urged them to end the violence.
While the attention of the world is on Cox's Bazar, we must not and cannot forget that almost 400,000 people are in Rakhine State, and their plight should not be forgotten.
Mueller also expressed concern whether returnees would be allowed to return to their places of origin.
I asked them to end the violence. I reiterated what the Secretary General of the United Nations called for, an end to violence, and that the return of the refugees from Cox's Bazar has to be in a voluntary, dignified way when solutions are durable. From what I've seen and heard from people, no access to health services, concerns about protection, continued displacements. The conditions are not conducive to return.
Human Rights Watch has said Myanmar has bulldozed at least 55 villages that were emptied during violence. According to New York-based Human Rights Watchdog, a total of 362 villages have been partially or completely destroyed since August. The exodus of Rohingya Muslims followed the August 25 crackdown by the military in the northwestern Rakhine State. Myanmar and Bangladesh agreed in January to complete a voluntary repatriation of the refugees in 2 years. Myanmar set up 2 reception centers and what it says is a temporary camp near the border in Rakhine to receive the first arrivals.
Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli says Nepal's friendship with India was aimed at improving lives of people of the two countries.
Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli was addressing reporters in New Delhi after he was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the red sandstone forecourts of British-era Presidential Palace. Later, Oli and his wife Radhika Shankya paid homage to India's iconic freedom fighter Mahatma Gandhi at his memorial Rajghat, situated on the banks of River Yamuna. Oli is on a 3-day visit to India to strengthen bilateral relations after he, during his 2015 and 16 tenure, accused the large southern neighbor of backing a 4-month border blockade by Nepal's ethnic minority groups post the formalization of his nation's current constitution.
We have developed our friendship according to the needs of times and according to the desires of our people, with purpose to eradicate poverty, improve the lifestyle of our people.
The Nepali Prime Minister held bilateral talks with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi and pressed New Delhi to extend scrapped high-value Indian banknotes worth $146 million held by individuals and informal sectors after Modi's government's shock 2016 announcement to ban 500 and 1,000 Indian rupee bills. India is Nepal's largest trade partner and the supplier of bulk of consumer goods, and its currency is widely used in the Himalayan nation.
Video posted to a social media website shows people, including several children, being treated with medicine via inhaler in an emergency clinic in what is said to be Duma, Syria. Many were being hosed down with water.
The video emerged amid reports by a Syrian rebel group which accused government forces of launching a deadly chemical attack on civilians in a rebel-held town in eastern Ghouta, and a medical relief organization said 35 people had been killed in chemical attacks on the area. Syrian state media denied government forces had launched any chemical attack and said rebels in the eastern Ghouta town of Douma were in a state of collapse and spreading false news. The US State Department said it was monitoring the situation and that Russia should be blamed if chemicals were used. The Syrian government has recaptured nearly all of eastern Ghouta from rebels in an offensive that began in February, leaving just Douma in the hands of an insurgent group. Russian-backed Syrian government forces resumed the assault on Friday afternoon with heavy airstrikes after days of calm. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said 11 people had died in Douma as a result of suffocation caused by the smoke from conventional weapons being dropped by the government. It said a total of 70 people suffered breathing difficulties. The observatory director Rami Abdurrahman said he could not confirm if chemical weapons had been used. Medical relief organization Syrian American Medical Society SAMS said a Korean bomb hit Douma hospital, killing 6 people, and a second attack with mixed agents, including nerve agents, had hit a nearby building. The US-based vice president of SAMS, Basel Termamini, said the total death toll in the chemical attacks was 35.
Bayern Munich clinches a 6th successive Bundesliga title with 5 games to spare by winning 4-1 at Augsburg despite falling behind to a bizarre own goal.
Bayern Munich's celebration looked in danger of being delayed when the ball went into their net off their own defender Niklas Süle, but Corentin Tolisso and James Rodriguez replied for the Bavarians before halftime before Arjen Robben and Sandro Wagner put the finishing touches in the second half. Bayern, who have 72 points from 29 games, moved 20 ahead of Schalke, who have 6 games to play including Saturday evening's visit to lowly Hamburg SV. It was a remarkable personal achievement for Bayern's 72-year-old coach Jupp Heynckes, who came out of retirement in October to replace Carlo Ancelotti for his 4th stint at the club with Bayern 5 points off the pace. He led them to 19 wins in 22 Bundesliga matches on his way to claiming a 4th Bundesliga title as coach, all with Bayern.
The world's largest cruise ship, Symphony of the Seas, embarks on its official maiden voyage from Barcelona.
The world's largest cruise ship departed as dozens of angry protesters demonstrated against cruise ships and tourism in Barcelona. The Royal Caribbean's latest mega ship, also known as the world's most Instagrammable cruise liner, can carry up to 6,680 guests and weighs over 228,000 tons. After Palma de Mallorca, the ship will head to Provence in France, then on to Florence, Pisa and Rome in Italy.
We enjoy the shipboard life and the ports of call, the destinations, and seeing parts of the world that we wouldn't otherwise see.
But protesters said that the cruise tourism industry in Barcelona is harming local neighborhoods and the city's air quality, as too many tourists inundate the city, causing a lack of space and loss of quality of life.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant day.